Hey guys, welcome to video number 4 of the series. Today I am so excited to be bringing RayTheGoth, also known as Rachel Barnett, to your screens. Ray has been online for years and obviously during this time with a large following has encountered her fair share of negativity. So today we're going to explore this a little bit, show how things can be misinterpreted online, not just in terms of words but in terms of photos and videos as well, and then we're going to delve a little bit deeper into why people say these things and how we can combat it to bring a little bit more positivity to your screens. So enjoy!
Hi everyone, I'm Ray. My full name's Rachel. I have a super cub called Pepper who I enjoy sharing my journey with her on my social media accounts, which is at RayTheGoth, which I started in 2006. So it's been with me for a very long time. And I have a beautiful daughter called Hazel who is 3.5 months old.
So recently I've seen quite a lot that people are more exercising their freedom of speech. Do you think that this is something that people should be allowed to use and express, or do you think there should be sort of a more conservative approach to it?
Obviously everyone's entitled to their opinion and to express it. That's what makes, social media so amazing, is that people can put themselves out there and tell their story and everything. Unfortunately, not everyone's going to agree with everyone else's opinion. There's a very fine line between being constructive and being cruel. And I think some people sometimes just don't understand where that barrier is. But it does exist.
Like, I know you mentioned to me prior to sort of like filming this video that you'd had a couple of sort of hate comments and stuff like that online.
Oh, I've had many over the years.
God, what was that like?
Well, it always hurts. Like, I have so many positive messages and people calling me an inspiration and stuff like that, which is still so bizarre to me. But it's always that one negative comment that just really hits you hard. And the thing is, you don't know what's going on behind closed doors. And unfortunately, some of the worst experiences that I've had with bullying online have coincided with some of the worst times of my life. So I've ended up being in a really bad way because of it. And it's things that normally I would brush off and say, or whatever. But with it, and it just builds up on top of everything else. So
it is like, no matter how sort of, I mean, it's never going to be an innocent comment, is it? But no matter sort of how blasé that they can be about literally just typing behind a screen, it can just sort of hurt that little bit more, or in your case like that much more. And like, especially at the moment where everyone is just sort of cooped up and sort of stuck inside during lockdown, like you see these horror stories in the news of people that have been sort of like targeted online, and it's just horrible.
The other thing is, people only show a snippet of things, 9 times out of 10 people are only showing the good thing. But then there's also like, how much do you share? Because sometimes if you share too much, then people will target you for it. So the more you put out there, the more likely you are to have backlash, unfortunately, I think.
Do you see so many people purely posting the good bits? And I'm sort of a huge advocate for that at the moment, of sort of trying to sort of not break the stigma, because I don't think there's a stigma surrounding it. I think the more you post the bad, the more it sort of normalises things. But obviously, like you say, the more you post, especially sort of in my case with sort of like the more, I don't want to say negative, but sort of rockier side of things, it does leave you open to that criticism, which is a hard thing. There is sort of like obviously a case of how things are being misinterpreted online as well, not just necessarily with words but also with photos and videos, because especially with photos you literally do get that tiny sort of screenshot, don't you, of a video. Watch a video of someone going around a dressage arena and their horse is slightly overbent in the slightest and everyone's like, broker, it's abuse. I don't know if you've got any ideas of sort of how people can avoid things being misinterpreted.
We're all equestrians who are on a journey. All of us are on different levels. In fact, I actually left a comment on someone's post today on Facebook because they were asking for advice, and straight away there were people like, the rider is rubbish. And I was like, God, some of these comments, like I said, everyone's on a journey with their horses. Everyone's at different levels. We're all constantly learning. Even the people who are at the top are still having lessons. So how can you feel so entitled to leave a comment where you think you know everything there is to know about that horse and that rider and their journey together? You can't. They're only showing a certain amount, and like you say, they often don't share the bad things, but it's because you get backlash for it.
It also is that point where you're like, end of the day, if you get off a horse at the end of your ride and you are still in one piece, that is something to celebrate.
That's an achievement in itself.
Absolutely. Now, you've been online how many years now?
Since 2006. That's embarrassing.
No, it's not. That's amazing.
What, like 14 years?
Crikey.
Yeah.
But with that has brought sort of loads of different sort of little sub-eras of editing. Are there any that have sort of been your favourite or your least favourite?
Well, when I first started YouTube, I was putting together photo like edits of horses because I didn't know how to get footage, and it was like as soon as I'd found someone who could like put horse movies into an edit, I was like, oh my god, that is amazing, I need to do that. So I got my little D5000, my Nikon, and I started filming some horses that were in a field at the back of my house because I didn't have my own. So I sort of got into that side of things. I feel like the vlogging community has kind of changed that negative attitude because you physically see a face now. It's not just someone sitting behind a screen. So you can't go, oh, you're doing this, that, and the other wrong because your face is out there. So people know and they can point fingers and be like, well, this is the person who's doing it. Whereas before it could have been completely anonymous.
I guess it's almost easier to edit as well, sort of like daily stuff, because you have sort of got that timeline. I mean, I don't want to say it's any less creative because it's not, but I just think it's easy.
Well, I know from experience with doing like the big equestrian edits where I would put like all the professional clips together and sit there and edit like everything to the beat and add effects on the top of it. It would take me months sometimes to get like a 1-minute video together. But I'm putting 1 or 2 videos out a week now, which is great. So yeah,
are you enjoying still doing it even with Hazel around?
Yeah,
I'm not saying that she's a bad thing at all. I realise how that sounded now.
Like, I tend to film on a weekend when Andy can have her for a few hours, so I tend to film like 3 videos in a day, and then through the week I'm sort of editing bits at a time whenever I get a chance. So
I guess that also opens you up almost to a whole new sort of audience as well, because like, I don't want to sound like a Facebook comment, but you are such an inspiration, not just because of like sort of like the bullying stuff, but also because you see people struggling online balancing sort of like kids and ponies, but you seem like, especially during lockdown, you're doing it so well. Like,
everyone keeps saying that, and honestly I don't know how I'm doing it. I don't know, I've just found that drive now, that I'm just really enjoying it, and there's obviously opportunities that have come up with it. So that's really cool.
But always trying to train Hazel up as your #1 super groom as well.
Yes. Advice if you're a victim of online bullying. So from an equestrian perspective, if you are getting hate and you get people saying you're doing this wrong, you're doing that wrong, I always say to listen to your instructor, the people who work with your horse directly, because they are the ones who matter. So if you've got concerns, ask your vet, ask the saddle fitter, ask the chiropractor, because they're the people who are hands-on with you and your horse. So they're the people who know best, and they are actually experts who, went away and got a degree in what they're doing. So,
There's only so much Facebook can tell you.
There's only so much that you're going to see from an image, or a small video snippet or whatever.
Exactly.
And I would love to see the community come together a bit more and just have a bit more fun with it and support one another, because like I say, we are all just trying to get somewhere. We've all got our own goals. For some people that's jumping 130 tracks, for some people it's I want to just hack down the lane and feel confident doing that. And there's nothing wrong in that.
If they can't change it in 5 minutes, then you don't draw attention to it, because maybe it is something they're trying to work on, maybe it's something they're trying to change, but drawing attention to it isn't going to do anything. So if you look online, you see a picture or a video of a horse that is maybe slightly behind the contact, maybe it's still coming back into work, maybe it's just a green baby, pointing it out is going to just achieve nothing. Well, thank you very much.
That's okay, thanks for inviting me, I've enjoyed it.
Good, I'm glad.